This is content intended for adults, not for puppies.
Reach over and grab my phone buzzing from the nightstand. Morio's calling me. Okay. That's not the alarm clock. Hey Mo. I was gonna say, is the day over? Did Eddie lock the apartment? Well, no, the apartment would be locked anyways. Not able to contain my grogginess as I speak.
Hey. Oh, shoot. I woke you up, didn't I?
Yeah, you kinda did. Sorry, I can call you back later. No, it's fine. What's up? Well, I got some news. I had my meeting with the academic board to review my portfolio. I perked up immediately. Oh yeah? How did that go? Well, after they reviewed everything, she takes a short pause. They loved what they saw. Okay, it's just good news. For a second, I was worried we were going to have bad news. It's good news. They loved what they saw. I can get my bachelor's degree in 3 years. I put my fist into the air. I can't contain my excitement. Woo, yes, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you, Mo. Aw, thanks. I'm proud of me, too. Well, I'm sorry I woke you up. I'll let you go back to sleep. In all honesty, I'm kind of wide awake now after hearing the good news. Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. I should probably shouldn't nap for too long anyhow. I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule. Right, well, since you're free, want to grab an early dinner with me? Check the time, it's 3:30. Been a while since breakfast. Yeah, that sounds great, actually. Want to meet me on campus? There's a few good places nearby. How am I supposed to get to campus? You can get off your butt and walk, you silly goose. It's only a mile away. A mile, ugh. Or you can just stay home and starve. And he starves to death and dies. No more chord progressions. Right. The soul is now inhabiting April. She's now the main character. She giggles. I don't know which fate is worse, in all honesty. I let out a long exhale. I'll come find you on campus, though. I'll figure out how to get there with Google Maps. Google Maps? Really? Really? Google Maps? Okay, because the thing with Google is the word Google actually comes from, like, the number Googleplex, which is just a really big number. Right, the word Google comes from the number Googleplex. So I feel like if you were going to do like a Dougal pun, if you were going to do a tongue-in-cheek Dougal pun, you would change Google into another word that is also like numerically related in some way. I don't know how you do that, but right, I don't know what numerical word or number or term he would use, but you know. I don't know. Great, text me when you get here. Will do, see ya soon. See ya. I hung up and rolled out of bed. I put on the same outfit I wore this morning and head out the door. Walking. In Fairview, anytime you have to walk more than half a mile, it's more like an intense hike. It's so exhausting traversing hilly terrain in my hometown. We have the finished reading line. It's Douglas Scott University's. Walking to Douglas Scott University's campus was a lot more pleasant than I was expecting. Yeah, where's the sister novel? Where's the Moria sister novel? Photo progressions, right? Where's the Moria sister novel photo progressions that takes place at Douglas Scott University, right? Where's that novel? Walking to Douglas Scott University's campus was a lot more pleasant than I was expecting. In Fairview, anytime you have to walk more than half a mile, it's more like an intense hike. It's so exhausting traversing the hilly terrain in my hometown. Here the proper crosswalks, sidewalks, and flat terrain made the journey quite pleasant. On the way, I skipped out some delightful locales that are all only a stone's throw away from the apartment. There's a nice park, some charming shops, and a few alluring restaurants. There's always restaurants. Getting to finally explore the area around me is quite thrilling. Slow walk service has a little taste for what's to come tomorrow. I could get used to this. Maybe this fox was never cut out for the country life. I walk aimlessly, passing some marvelous architecture and beautiful gardens. This place is much more aesthetically pleasing than FCC, that's for sure. Fairview Community College. See, guys, I remember. The federal commissions, federal trade commissions. Oh, that's the FTC. I text Moria and let her know I have arrived. She calls soon after. Hey, where you at? I have no idea. It's my first time here. What buildings do you see? Stop in my tracks and scan the environment for any signs. I'm right outside Hetfield Hall. I have no idea where that is. You don't know how to get around this campus either? No, it's huge. I've only been here for 3 days. Couldn't help but to laugh. Ha, we didn't plan this out well, did we? Yeah, we're so bad at this. Okay, plan B. How about we stay on the phone and walk around until we find each other? She chuckles. Sounds good, Sunshine. For the next few minutes, we kept walking while chatting, not seemingly getting any closer to finding each other. I eventually noticed something peculiar. Hey Mo, I see a crowd around some kind of stage outside, out in the field. Just then, the crowd let out a cheer and music starts to play over the speakers. Oh, I think I can hear it. Yes, I see something happening. Over by the alumni building? I guess? As I get closer, I see it's some sort of pop-up performance taking place on the grassy lawn. I can tell the stage is a portable structure, suitable for impromptu performances. I can't get close enough to see what kind of performance it is, though. Whatever it is, the crowd's certainly excited. I'm interested to see what's going on, even though we seem to be catching the tail end of the event. I worked my way to the back of the crowd and started scanning for her. Eventually found my fox. Cut my paws around my maw to help project my voice. Hey, Mo. I caught her attention. She approaches me.
Hey, finally found you.
Thank you, Mario. Very cool. Do you know what's going on here? No clue. The crowd cheers one more time as someone ascends onto the stage. The music resumes. It's a large bear woman with a microphone in paw. She's sporting an extravagant dress covered in brilliant and shiny sequins. Sequins? Sequins. Oh, sequins. Whenever I hear sequence, I think like sequence, like the cue, the like, as in like the next in a sequence. But that's not how it's spelled. She's wearing an incredible amount of makeup with a large beehive hairdo. I guess it's safe to say that it isn't her actual hair. It's certainly a wig. This person's a drag queen. How are we doing out here tonight, DSU? Douglas Scott University. She announced into her microphone with incredible enthusiasm. She must be the master of ceremonies for this performance. Are all the freshmen out there having a fabulous orientation? Let me hear the freshmen. The subsection of the crowd is cheering. Maria claps and hollers as well. Didn't take much for her to get invested in whatever's going on. Getting a good look at those in attendance, I actually see a pall full of familiar faces. I've spotted several of them at Chronicles this week. One especially familiar face catches my eye. It's Cliff. Okay, so we are seeing the characters. I was like, okay, what happens in this day? Does Eddie just go home, go to sleep? Maybe we talk to like Moria in April, right? Then the day's over. It's like, okay, we're actually we're seeing more of the cast. Okay. When an especially familiar face catches my eye, it's Cliff. He's walking towards us. Hey Mo, Cliff's here. Pointed out the capybara to her. Oh my gosh, no way, I wasn't expecting to meet him so soon. Capybara was making a swift beeline towards us, walking with purpose. He approached with a worried look on his face.
Hey, you shouldn't be here right now.
Thank you, Cliff, very cool. Why does he sound like... He sounds like someone. He sounds like someone. I don't know who he reminds me of. He reminds me of somebody. I don't know. I don't know who it is. There's just something so Funimation voice actor about his voice. There's something so Funimation voice actor about Cliff's voice. But I can't nail it down. I can't pin it down. I was really taken off guard by that introduction. Was I doing something wrong? Oh, shoot. Sorry, is this a students only event or something? Yeah, you need to get out of here before you get in trouble. But Morio's here. Whoa, hey, he's with me and I'm a student. Why can't he be here? Morio was very stoned with her tone. Alrighty, girls, gays, and theys. Up next, we have a newer queen. But don't you dare underestimate her. Everybody welcome, Becky! The way she said the word Becky was peculiar. She used a very over-exaggerated, vapid tone. The music on the intercom went silent. Becky. Eddie, please, you need to leave. Cliff's tone was assertive and bordering on aggressive. What was I doing wrong? What did I do to make him upset? I'm struggling to find any words. Hey, you can't just tell him to leave like that without an explanation. A different voice was now booming on the speakers.
Hi, everyone.
My only response is HMM ... My only response is HMM ... The performer, I assumed to be Becky, spoke with a grating and overly feminine tone, like a hyperbolic version of a privileged young woman. But the sound of her voice, it caught my attention immediately. I looked to the stage and see a dog wearing a long blonde wig and a sparkly red cocktail dress and chunky stoned bracelets. She's a black and white border collie with amber eyes, 3 dots on her cheeks. Holy fuck, that's Pat. My jaw instantly hit the floor as I saw my coworker prance around the stage with a mic in paw. I immediately looked at Cliff. Does Moria know what a Pat is? Maybe. Moria might know what a Pat is. It is nice. It is fun how the voice gives away who Becky is, but you can also tell by like the color of the name. The color of Becky's name is the same color as Pat's name, but also they have been alluding to Pat, being up to something. They have alluded to Pat being up to something. This isn't necessarily what it is, though. This isn't necessarily what Pat's been up to, right? This could just be a red herring. This could be a fake out, right? Maybe Pat really is purchasing nuclear weaponry off the black market, Maybe this is just here to distract us, here to throw us off the trail. I immediately look up to Cliff. His eager expression now turned dejected. God damn it. He mutters under his breath. He sheepishly walks away without another word, disappearing into the crowd. Moria pokes me. What the hell is his problem? So that queen on stage right now, that's Pat. She's Pat? No way. Yeah, I don't think I was supposed to find out this way.
I know you're all gonna love this next song. You'll always catch me dancing to this one after I've had one too many Grey Claws.
Thank you, Becky. Very cool.
OMG.
Pat, or Becky, I should say, is still sticking to the character and maintaining that obnoxious tone of voice. Be nice, Eddie. This is who he is. This is who Pat is. This is Becky. This is her. Song begins to play over the speakers, and I immediately recognize it. It's Walk Away by Dula Peep. This is one of my favorites. Dula Peep. Walk Away by Dula Peep? Okay. Dula Peep. Is Dula Peep like a chicken? Because, wait, no, peeps are bunnies, right? Is Dula Peep a bunny? Because peeps are like rabbits? Wait, no, peeps are only rabbits during Easter, right? Whenever it's not Easter, peeps aren't rabbits, right? They're like chicks. Dula Peep. Guys, I'm horrified. I'm horrified. Not because of Pat, right? Pat's fine. Becky's fine. But I'm horrified at what is behind that link. Because part of me thinks that Dula Peep is Dua Lipa. And if I click this link, it's going to open up a Dua Lipa song. And then my YouTube recommended feed is going to then be filled with Dua Lipa songs. Or Dula Peep could not be related to Dua Lipa at all. And this is actually like an original song that it's going to link me to called Walk Away. Or it's going to link me to Dua Lipa. Do I have opinions on Dua Lipa? I do. But they aren't opinions I feel like talking about. I like that one song. What's that one song? One, don't pick up the phone. If I sing that, will I get copyrighted? I don't know, moving on. This is one of my favorites. Becky sets a microphone on a stand and backs away. When the song lyrics start, she begins a routine of dances and lip syncing. She's putting on a great show. The crowd is loving her energy and tipping her generously with dollar bills. She's only lip syncing? She's not actually singing the song? She's just... Her dance moves are quite impressive, especially considering how hard it must be to maneuver in that dress. I find myself captivated by this production. The fact that a coworker is performing makes it all the more amusing. My eyes are glued to Becky, and I can hear Moria hollering and clapping next to me. I'm glad she's enjoying herself too. The song ends as Becky strikes a dramatic pose. The crowd erupts in applause, Moria and myself included. Becky approaches the mic stand for the last time. That's all I have time for, DSU, but we'll be back. Bye. With her paws, she performs a very flamboyant waving gesture to the crowd. So I guess Cliff doesn't know who Moria is? But April knows who. Well, obviously April knows who Moria is. But, like, Pat should know who Moria is through April, right? Like, either way, Moria had a chance of discovering this on her own, whether or not Eddie was or was not here. So I wonder if Pat would have recognized, like, Moria and been like, hey, don't tell anyone about what you just saw. But I guess Moria... No, Moria knows who Pat is. Because Eddie was like, oh, it's Pat. Moria was like, oh, that's Pat? So presumably, Moria knows what a Pat is. I don't know. With her paws, she performs a very flamboyant waving gesture to the crowd. As she exits the stage, she collects more dollar bills provided by the excited crowd. Becky's doing a fabulous job at staying in this vapid Valley Girl character. I still find myself struggling to believe that's actually Pat up there. Becky and the large bear woman change places. The music resumes. Alright, you lovely people, that wraps up our performance for today. Let's have one last round of applause for the Queer Allyship Club for organizing this whole shindig. The crowd claps and cheers accordingly. If you are of age, you can catch us at Even in Odds almost every night. Stay safe, DSU, and this has been... The bear flexes her arms, most of which are incredibly massive and muscular. Omega She! She bellows out those words in a very loud and masculine tone. It's about how this performer has mashed together hyper-femininity with hyper-masculinity. It's certainly entertaining to watch. As the crowd begins to disperse, I scan the area for Cliff. He's nowhere to be found. Oh my gosh, Eddie! Did we just watch our first drag show? Yeah, I think so. It's pretty wild. Yeah, and on campus too? FCC would never. That's for sure. Maria scans the crowd and points. Oh, I see Becky over by the stage. We should go say hi. I'm not sure if he wants... Bringing another word out, where he is eagerly waving to Pat. Trying to look at him, he, or I guess she, is standing by the stage, waving back at Moria. Becky turns her gaze slightly and fixes her focus in my direction. We lock eyes. Expression takes a dramatic 180 from excitement to sheer horror. I sheepishly wave. Without a word, she turns tail and makes a hasty beeline to the nearest building and enters inside. Heck, I don't think he wanted to see me here. Oh, Eddie, I'm sorry. It's okay, you didn't know. This all happened so fast. Yeah, it did. I wasn't thinking. Definitely explains why Cliff was adamant that I leave. Didn't have to be so rude, though. Out to the side, we hear some commotion. Wow! Alright, which one of you twinks to my bench pressing next? The drag queen bellowed loudly at her admirers. Omega She seems to be putting on quite the after show. She's lifting college students into the air with seemingly little effort. I like her. Yeah, she puts on a good show, don't she? Where did she say they perform shows? Evan and Otts? You know what, Moria, never mind. I think it was evens and odds, like even and odd numbers. Sounds like another gay club in town. Another gay club? There's more? Yeah, Chester told me there's one called the Veller Lounge. He suggested we'd stop by there tomorrow. Oh my gosh, yes, I can't believe we finally get to see some queer spaces. Yeah, I'm excited too. Glance back at the door that Becky had entered. Pat was now exiting with wearing his normal attire with a duffel bag over his shoulder. All the makeup was washed off too. He makes a chastened approach towards us. Hey Eddie. Hey there, so I guess I found out what your thing is, huh? Yep, this is my thing. No, he has a different thing. Pat has a different thing. He's like, I don't know, he's purchasing weapons off the black market. I know he is. This is just one of Pat's things. Pat has another thing, trust. Trust, guys. In 2028, it'll be revealed. It'll be revealed in the Pat route what Pat's thing is, right? This is just a thing, right? This is just a quirk of the pup, right? The pup has an even deeper, darker quirk, I assure you. Yep, this is my thing. Wow, you did amazing up there. That was so exciting. Soft smile emerges on his face. You think so? Absolutely, it was so funny, and you're a great dancer. Just adore the drag persona you created. It's interesting seeing Pat be like... Because, you know, he's very, like, comfortable. He's very open and expressive with, like, things other people would be more, like, shy and intimate about, right? But this is actually, like, something he actually feels kind of like... He kind of feels like, this is a part of himself he actually feels kind of, like, awkward about expressing. So we get to see him, like, actually be a little meek for a second. Oh, thanks. Also, I don't think we've met. I'm Pat. Moria. So you're the famous Moria I keep hearing about. She blesses in response to that statement. Well, I don't know if famous is the right word. Because for me, April talks about you so much. I was more than convinced you were some kind of goddess or something. She giggles in response and blushes deeper. The collie looks at me. The collie turns to me. Hey, so, mind keeping this a secret for now? Only Cliff and April know. April knows? I'm not ready for Chester and Dave to find out. Or Daryl. I don't think there's anyone that would care. I don't think there's anyone who would care. It's like, oh, Pat, I don't mind you being like openly queer and sexually explicit and like expressive, especially towards new people, right? All of that stuff can pass. All of that stuff I'm fine with. But you dress up like a woman, Pat? No, you're out of here, right? You're kicking the can, Pat. Right? I have trouble believing. I have trouble believing anything to that extent would occur ever. I mimed a zipping gesture with my paw and mouth. Lips are sealed, right, Moria? Scout's honor. Cool, thanks. So, what are you guys up to? Well, Eddie and I are about to grab some food, but we got distracted by your captivating performance. Pat's demeanor has taken quite the turn. I always seem to please. Kind of worked up an appetite on that stage. Do you guys mind if I join you? Not at all, Eddie. I'm down. Awesome. The collie cups his paws around his maw and projects his voice in Omega She's direction. Mega! I look over at the drag queen. She now has an entire ass college student hanging onto her biceps, suspended off the ground. You heading out, Bex? Yeah, I'll see you next Tuesday. 3 p.m. sharp. Collie rolls his eyes. Yes, ma'am. Looks back to Moria and me. He whispers to us. She's literally so annoying about timing. Ugh. She's annoying about timing. He adjusts his voice. He adjusts his volume back to normal. So, where do you guys want to go? Well, there's a Panthera bakery on campus. Is that a joke? Is that... That's Panera Bread. Okay, Panthera Bakery, that's Panera Bread. Okay, that's a good one, though. Because that's like a pun that's, like, actually, like... That's one of these brand puns that's, like, actually, like, integrating a specific, like, intent and concept. Right? It's taking Panera and turning it into Panthera. Which is sort of, like, you know, tongue-in-cheek commentary on the fact that this is, like, a anthropomorphic setting, right? That's cool. I wonder what Panera in of itself means, though. Never been to one before, and I've been dying to try it. Good choice. You guys are gonna like it. We're going to Panera Bread? Are you sure? Are you sure that's what we're doing? Right? This episode of Chord Progressions, we go to Panera Bread? Did I read that right? Okay, we're going to Panera Bread, I guess. Do you know the way? Yep, follow me. Where's that meme reference? Where's that meme reference, Bowser? Where's that pink text? Right? Where's the pink text of Eddie saying, "Do you know the way?" being linked to a Ugandan Knuckles meme? We arrive to Panera after a short walk. Wake up and smell the coffee. Is that Cyrillic? Coca-Cola. We arrive to Panthera after a short walk. Just like Pollos, it's a counter-service restaurant with a fast casual vibe. Maury and I are smitten by the bread bowl soups, and we're eager to try something new. Pat was content with a salad and a sandwich. We order and find a cozy booth to sit at. We continue our conversation between bites. Yeah, I guess to, like, country folks, right? I guess to country folks, even, like, restaurants that are, like, relatively, like, well-known and, like, mainstream can seem, like, unique and, like, fresh compared to, like, what you're used to, and there's sort of, like, smaller towns. It's like Panera Bread. I've never been. To be fair, though, I've never been to a Panera Bread. But if someone was like, "Oh, let's go to Panera Bread," I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're not going to fucking Panera Bread." We continue our conversation between bites. Now it's making me wonder if Los Pollos Gordos is that a play on a, like, specific real life restaurant? I don't think so, right? I think that one's just like a chicken place. I don't think it's spoofing on any, like, real life brand in particular, right? Is there a real life brand like that where they're like a chicken place, but also they just sort of have, like, Southwestern foods? I don't know. I don't go to Southwestern restaurants. Right? I don't live in a city like that. I don't go to Southwestern restaurants. Huh. Yeah. We order and find a cozy booth to sit at. We continue our conversation between bites.
So, how long have you been doing drag?
A couple of months. I'm still really new. Wow, could have fooled me. You're fantastic on that stage. Glad that these two got to meet each other. They seem to really be hitting it off. It's also quite refreshing to see this new side of Pat. The tenacious sex pest side of his personality was starting to feel grating. Tenacious sex pest. That's such a term. That's such a powerful term. Tenacious sex pest. What a brilliant way to describe a person. I'm glad you think so. It's all thanks to Omega She. She really pushes me to be my best. Is she, like, your mentor? Yep, I call her my drag mom. She's been doing it for years, taught me everything I know. Cliff helps out too. He's got a good eye for fashion, so he styles a lot of my outfits. That's so nice that you have so much support. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky, I guess. So what made you want to start doing drag? Honestly, I just love getting to be as obnoxious and belligerent as possible and have people actually enjoy it. I created Becky to be the pure essence of all things annoying and chaotic. People go crazy for her. Like, don't get me wrong, I basically get to do the same thing with Carcinogen, but we perform once a month at most. But with the drag, I can perform as much as I want. That's amazing. So what do you... Maria's phone was receiving a call. Oop, sorry guys. Oh no. Oh no, Eddie and Pat are going to be left alone again. That is an interesting thing. That is, like, an interesting, like, episode structure that this, like, novel uses, though. Because it happened in the last day, too. Where we would, like... We saw Trent at the gym. Eddie left. Then he went back to talk with Trent again. You know? Like, we saw... Like, we had a scene with Pat this morning. Eddie left. And now we're back to a Pat scene. Who's at work? Whatever. Who's at work? She picks it up off the table and answers. Hello? Oh, hey, Joe. Oh my gosh, I'm literally so dumb. I'm so sorry. I'll be there in like 5 minutes. She hangs up. She immediately slides out of the booth and stands up. Sorry, I totally forgot. My grad student advisor is meeting me at the bookstore to help me pick out some art supplies. I'll be back in like 15 minutes. Without another word, she exits the restaurant with haste. Poor girl, always double booking herself. Yeah, it happens to me sometimes. The other day, I accidentally planned 2 cruiser hookups at the same time. It's okay. We're back to tenacious sex pest Pat. Or wait, maybe that wasn't an accident. He gives a sly chuckle. What do you mean, Pat? What do you mean? Pat, that could mean several things. Pat. God damn it, here we go again. He's turning the conversation sexual. I don't offer him a response. I just sigh and keep slurping on my soup. Oh, poor Pat. Poor Pat. Eddie's harshing the vibes, but also Pat's harshing the vibes. Right? Eddie's harshing the vibes, but Pat just intrinsically, inherently, immediately harshes the vibes upon entering a room. Oh, my bad. You still don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, I guess. Ding, ding, ding. Like, Pat, okay, like, part of the issue... Pat, part of the issue is probably, like, that's... You need to talk about other things, Pat, right? Like, you need to talk about other things. Like, the pizza can't just be tomato sauce, right? The pizza can't just be tomato sauce. You need some cheese, some pepperoni. You need some other ingredients on there. But then, you know, the sauce bites at you as a particular, like, note of flavor, right? Right. There can't only be salt in these cookies, Pat. In the salt? I guess you don't put salt in cookies. I don't know. I just assume bakers put salt in everything. You need to talk about other things. You need to talk about other things, Pat. But then you can, like, accent the things you're talking about with stuff that's, you know, more... a bit more intimate and spicy, right? Spice. That's a good analogy. But people these days, like, love spice. They want as much spice as possible on every conceivable food ever. I don't know, you get the point. You get the point. Pat, you have to talk about other things, but then you can, like, throw some spice in there, you know? And throw some pizzazz, throw some spice, right? But it can't just be spice, Pat, right? It can't just be spice all the time. I made my response cold as ice. He's not amused. Hey, come on, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. I've been trying not to say this, but Pat kind of gives... Somehow, he gives Redditor energy, right? Pat gives a Redditor energy. And it's not just the glasses, right? It's not just the glasses. Pat, somehow, he gives Reddit, right? Pat is giving Reddit. I don't know why. I don't know why Pat's giving Reddit, but Pat's giving Reddit. Well, could you lighten it with anything other than sexual comments, please? This is an awesome scene, actually. This is an awesome scene. Because Eddie's like finally properly confronting Pat, and it's quite entertaining. Dude, we talked about this morning. Didn't we figure out that the reason you're uncomfortable is because you're not used to having these kinds of conversations? What does that have to do with anything? I'm just trying to solve the problem. If we talk more about this stuff, then you'll feel more comfortable with the subject. What makes you think I need help solving this problem if I don't even want to get comfortable with the subject? But why not? I'm only going to help you. Maybe because it makes me feel like shit, Pat. Aw. Oh, it makes Eddie feel bad. What? Okay. I'm trying to think. Would I hate Pat? I don't know. I feel like Pat would be kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know how I would interact with someone like Pat. I feel like I wouldn't. I feel like I wouldn't be friends with Pat. Right? As much as I joke about Pat being worst boy, I think he's kind of silly. Right? He's kind of silly in a way that's endearing. Whenever he's not making Eddie uncomfortable, I guess. But I think Pat isn't silly in a way that's endearing. Even though I've dubbed him worst boy, even though Pat's kind of worst boy by default, I do find Pat entertaining. But I don't think I could be friends with someone like Pat IRL. Right? I don't think I could be friends with someone like Pat IRL. I think I would just get bored. I would just get bored of Pat. Because he doesn't talk about anything that's not, you know, like, intimate and sexual. I don't think I could be friends with Pat. Okay, here's what would happen. Pat would try talking to me, and he'd try making like the sexual jokes and stuff, and I'd pretend that I think it's funny, and he would keep hanging around me because he thinks he's entertaining to me, even though I'm just pretending, and then eventually it would get too awkward, and I'd get like bored of it, and I'd just like stop talking to him inexplicably one day. Or Pat would keep making the sexual remarks to me, and then and being horny and shit, and then eventually I'd cave and I just end up fucking Pat, right? Those are the only two directions. Those are the only two outcomes. Maybe because it makes me feel like shit, Pat. I eventually yelled out my response to him. The restaurant fell silent for a short moment. Eddie, can you stop arguing with bitches at fucking Wendy's? Eddie, can you stop arguing with bitches at Wendy's? Stop doing this. Anywhere else, Eddie. Anywhere else, Eddie. You need to go anywhere else and have these confrontations with people. Right. You're at Wendy's, Eddie. You're at Wendy's. You're at Panera Bread, Eddie. Wake up and smell the coffee. The collie's expression fell sullen in response to my outburst. Sorry. I let out an exhausted sigh. It's just this week has been so stressful for me, and I've been really struggling with the whole sex thing. What do you mean by that? I don't know. Pat's really funny. Pat's funny in the same way that Eddie's funny. Where they're just like absolute professional goobers, right? Eddie and Pat are both just absolute professional goobers. And they just say a completely normal mundane sentence. And then it just drives me up the wall. Right? Something about tenacious sex pest Pat bullying Eddie for not being expressive and sexual with him, saying, "What do you mean by that?" Just comes across as hilarious somehow. Well, for starters, my dumb little heart is overwhelmed with all the attractive guys I've been meeting for the past few days. You know what? Continue, Eddie. But everyone's way out of my league. It makes me feel so insecure. It also doesn't help that I'm a touch-starved creep who's got nothing going for him. Whoa, hey, who had said anything about you being a creep? No one needs to say it. It's just the truth. You were right. I have an absolutely filthy mind, and I feel like shit about it. Hey, there's no reason you need to feel like shit about it. You're not acting like a creep. But I keep thinking perverted things. You, Chester, Dave, even some random customer that came in the other day. Okay, but like, did you do anything inappropriate? What do you mean? Like, did you ever make a sexual comment or grope anyone? See, this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't know. I guess Pat just draws a different line. Right. Pat thinks it's okay to talk about, like, sexual comments and objectify people in private. But obviously that's not something that's okay to do, like, openly. In a way that would make people upset or uncomfortable. But I guess Pat draws a bit of a different line than I do. Like, I draw the line at, like, you know, objectifying and sexualizing people, like, even, like, privately. Like, if you're discussing people with someone, if you're discussing someone with another person who isn't, like, present, you know, like, that's weird. Right, that's a weird thing. Like, I draw the line a little bit earlier than Pat does, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know. This is an interesting conundrum, though, that, like, Chord Progressions has sort of presented, right? About, like, how and when it's okay to be sort of, like, comfortable being, like, sexually expressive and shit, right? Sexually expressive in a way that's not, like, Puritan, right? Like, not being overly Puritan about being sexually expressive, but also not, you know, making people uncomfortable with, the level of, like, sexual expressiveness you're expressing, right? I don't know. It is an interesting conundrum that's sort of being presented. And I do like how they're going, like, back and forth with it, right? Like Eddie's really shy about it. Pat's really open about it. But, I don't know. Like, sometimes it seems like the novel is trying to say, like, oh, Eddie's right here. Or, oh, Pat's right here. Or, oh, you thought Eddie was right, but actually Pat's right. Like, it seems like they both sort of, like, take turns taking this, like, moral high ground. And in my brain, I'm trying to figure out, like, what the author is trying to say, Does the author think people like Pat are too sexually expressive? Or is Eddie, like, wrong in not being, like, sexually expressive enough, right? And it has me thinking, like, oh, what is the story actually trying to say? What does the author actually, like, think about what's going on here? Seems like they're sort of playing table tennis with it, right? They're sort of whacking the topic, the moral high groundedness back and forth with each other in a way that I find interesting. What? No, God, no. But that's not the point. I'm still thinking all these inappropriate things. But yeah, obviously, Eddie having thought crimes, it's not a real problem, right? Eddie having thought crimes isn't, like, an actual issue. Why does that matter? It's on your head. It can't hurt anyone. Here, let me ask you this. Pat pauses and just stares into my eyes intensely for a second. Did you feel it? Feel what? In my head, I just imagined myself smacking you across the mouth. Did you feel anything? I'm caught off guard by that question. No. Why would you do that? He shrugs. Didn't need a reason. The thought just simply crossed my mind. I sit in silence and contemplate for a moment. Okay, I get your point. Thoughts can't actually hurt anyone. It's so bad having inappropriate thoughts. They lead to bad actions. Well, you're not wrong in the sense that all bad actions stem from bad thoughts. But I think I got the perfect analogy for you. Pat is kind of Reddit. He's kind of Reddit. So all trees go from seeds, right? Yes, of course. But does every seed grow into a tree? Pat, this analogy sucks ass. Pat, this analogy sucks. No, some don't make it that far. Exactly, some seeds don't make it. They don't get enough water, or the soil's bad, or whatever. If you don't give them the right conditions, they won't grow. I don't like this analogy. I don't like this analogy. This analogy is weird. But again, whenever I say this analogy is weird, is this the author giving us this analogy, right? Is this, like, the author's moral? Is this Chord Progressions, like, moral of the story? Or is this, Pat's solution? Is this Pat's perspective? Right, is Pat's perspective here trying to be framed as, like, the right perspective, the true perspective, by the standards of, like, Chord Progressions and its author? Or is Pat just, is this just what Pat says, If you don't give them the right conditions, they won't grow. I don't like that analogy. I'm not sure what I don't quite like about it. By the way, are these pockets, this keeps bothering me, are these pockets or just, like, shapes? Like, can you unzip this and then there's a pocket inside? Sorry, I have to get off my mind. If you don't give them the right conditions, they won't grow. See where I'm going with this? Like, I think Pat has a point, but I don't know. I feel like his analogy lacks nuance. Yeah, every tree grows from a seed, but not every seed grows into a tree. Similarly, every bad thought doesn't result in a bad action. You have to nurture those bad thoughts for them to manifest. Huh. Like, I feel like his analogy is sort of, like, overly simplified. I feel like it doesn't properly explore and actually communicate all of the issues they're sort of, like, dealing with, But I don't think it's, like, incorrect. I don't think the analogy is wrong. I just feel like it's sort of understating the sort of, like, circumstance that they're, like, contending with. Ooh, manifest. You're smarter than you look, Fox. Pauses for a second. So stop me if this is an invasive question, but did you grow up Christian? Yup. Evangelical? Yup. Oof, sorry buddy. Takes a long time to deprogram your mind from their thought policing. I was fed the same line of bullshit about how sinful it is to have bad thoughts. You grew up Christian? Also grew up Christian? Yeah, Catholic. Huh. You and I aren't so different.
We aren't so different, you and I.
Can't help but wonder, though. Can I ask you something? Sure. How do you know this stuff? We've had a really insightful conversations today. You seem really wise, I guess? Therapy.
Ugh.
Ugh. Oh, that makes sense. You know what? I'll shut up. I'll shut up. Yeah, when life kicks your ass in more ways than one, it's one of the best ways to cope. Yeah, maybe that's something I should consider. Ugh. I'm not gonna go on an oddly... Right, I'm not gonna go on a strange rant. I'm not gonna go on a strange rant about therapy. I'm not gonna do it. Guys, everyone go to therapy now. Everyone go to therapy now. Everyone go to therapy except me. I'm not going to therapy. You can't make me. You can't make me go to therapy.
I refuse.
I refuse the therapy. Everyone else go. I'm not going. I'm not going to therapy. Hey, there's no shame if you want to try it. I'm sure you'll have some more great breakthroughs, just like the one we had. He chuckles. He's so Reddit. It's funny, I actually had the breakthrough about the seeds and trees in the opposite way. What do you mean by that? Well, I did a lot of bad things, and I thought it was because I was a bad person I was having bad thoughts. Pat is doing bad things, like purchasing illegal military equipment and weaponry off the black market. Guys, I'm telling you, the big reveal is coming 2028. Chord Progressions, Pat Root finale. Metal Gear Solid 7, Pat nukes, Colorado, Pat nukes Colorado, I don't know. It's coming in 2027, guys. 2028, it's Metal Gear Solid 7. But I learned that bad thoughts don't make me a bad person. The actions I chose to take are what define me. Right, so you act the way you do because you choose to be a nuisance? Ha! Don't you forget it. Then Pat's phone rang. He picked it up off the table and answered. Hey, where'd you go? Paused for a moment to listen. Yeah, I know. I'm actually having lunch with him right now. It's all good. Brat, Panthera. You should stop in. Okay, cool. See ya. When does Moria return? She said 15 minutes, right? I guess it's not a strict 15 minutes. He hangs up and places his phone screen down on the table. Guessing that was Cliff? Yep, he's on his way. He wants to talk to you. No. Feeling uncertain about having another encounter with Capybara after making him upset. The two of us chatted in silence for a short moment, but digesting all the information Pat had just given me, assuming he was offering me a silent grace period to do so. There we go, I don't know why I did that. Cliff made an appearance before the silence grew too long. Quickly found our table and scooched in next to Pat. He didn't give me any eye contact. Hey, Eddie. Hey there. Look, I'm sorry I got mad at you. I was really frustrated at the situation. I wasn't frustrated with you. You didn't do anything wrong. Just a chain of coincidences. A chain of very, very, very lucky, unfortunate, fortunate coincidences. It's okay, I totally understand. You were just looking out for Pat. You're a good friend. He offered me a small smile in response. Thanks. I feel like such an ass, though. I must have given Moria a really bad first impression. Oh, you'll be fine. She's a cupcake. Just apologize and she'll give you the grace to try again. Where is she? She went to get some school supplies or something. She'll be back soon. I don't know. She went somewhere to do something. I'm not sure. You should get something to eat while we wait for her to get back. What are these guys eating? Were they eating something? Nah, I'm good. Not hungry. Are you sure? Yes, I'm fine. I had lunch before your show started, I promise. Alright. Shortly after, Morio returned with a shopping bag and given Paw. Hey, I'm so sorry about that. I totally forgot I made plans. She focuses on the capybara and gives him a glare. And hello, Cliff. No, easy. He came to apologize. Yeah, I'm sorry for getting snippy with you guys. Well, you did to protect your friend, so you can't be all bad. Apology accepted. Thanks. I feel like I made such a shitty first impression, though. Well, how about we start over? Forget the whole thing ever happened. I'd like that, yeah. Thanks for understanding. Thanks for understanding what? I have no idea what you're talking about. We just met. Hello, my name's Morio. What's yours? We all giggled at her little joke. For real, though, let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you guys. I think arranging our little night out is more than enough. I want to do more, though. How about I buy you guys a couple drinks tomorrow? Such a gentleman. I'm so excited, by the way. Eddie and I have never done anything like this before. Yeah, he was telling me. We're gonna have a good time. I just wish I had something fun to wear, though. I don't have anything in my wardrobe that's great for nightlife, you know? Cliff's face lit up. Clace. My new favorite character, Clace. Oh, I could help with that if you want. We can go to my favorite thrift store downtown. Cliff nudges Pat with his elbow. I know a thing or two about dressing up a lady. Pat rolls his eyes. That sounds perfect. Can we, go today? Cliff shrugs. Sure, why not? I have nothing else planned. How about you, Eddie? I don't have anything planned either. Sounds like fun. I'd love to join you guys, but gotta sit this one out. Band practice tonight. Who's at Chronicles? Who's at the store? I don't think I understand how the work schedule works. Who's at work? Is the cafe closed? I'm so excited. Can we go now? Mo, you gotta finish your dinner first. Oh yes, my bread bowl. Bread bowl? Like, a bread bowl is probably an actual bowl, right? Chord Progressions loves bowls, by the way. They love making things into bowls. Burrito bowl, bread bowl. That's all the bowls. We continue to polish off our meals as we idly chatted about the thrift store. Oh, about the thrift store. Because, that made me think they were already there for a second. But they're chatting about it, not about it. From the way Cliff describes it, it'll be a great praise for Moria and me to shop. The store always has tailors on staff who can make some great alterations to any garment to help them fit properly. This definitely will be useful for Moria since she isn't shaped like most women. I also found myself needing a tailor quite often since trouser trail slits are never big enough for me. Thanks, Fox Genetics. Trouser tail slits. Oh, tail slits. Huh. Fergonomics. Pat exits early to ensure he's on time for practice, leaving three of us at the table. Moria finishes her meal shortly after. Y'all ready to go? Yep. How are we gonna get there, though? Can we walk? We could, but it'll be best to take the bus. The bus. Guys, I forgot buses existed. I completely forgot buses existed. I forgot Eddie could, take a bus somewhere, you know? Okay, so in the alternate timeline where Trent was in trouble, and the only person he knew to contact was Eddie, in that alternate timeline, Eddie could have took a bus, right? He could have took a bus to save Trent. There's a route on campus that'll take us straight to the terminal. We can get anywhere in the city from there. Ooh, a bus? Wow, this will be our first time on transportation, huh? She directs the question to me. Yeah, I guess you're right. Cliff looks at us quizzically. Geez, your hometown was really that bad, huh? Oh gosh, don't get us started. Let's not get into that mess. We should get going. We vacate our booth, discard our trash, and mosey down towards the bus stop.